Moo! Dairy cows. I bet you that's the very first video you've ever watched where moo was used as the first word in the video. I recently did a poll on YouTube and dairy cows was the #1 isopod you wanted to see out of our collection. So today we're going to take a look at dairy cows.
The Isopod vlog.
And welcome back. And you probably know this, but dairy cows are of the genus Porcellio and the species laevis. And in that Porcellio laevis, there's so many different morphs: orange, Dalmatian, caramel. There's just a wide variety of these different morphs. But probably the most famous is dairy cows. If you have isopods, would you consider dairy cows to be one of your favorites? If so, leave a comment below and let me know. I picked up a group of dairy cows from Ryan McVeigh of the Madison Area Herp Society a number of months ago, and they really exploded. So let's go ahead and take a look at them, and I'll explain why they're probably one of the hobby's favorite isopods. So here's my group of dairy cows. Yes, there's 3 different containers here. And I keep 3 different containers because, well, I'll tell you a little bit later in the video. Let's go ahead and take a look at each one of these. So here's the very first container, and you can see that I have it set up like most of my other containers for isopods, other than a couple of modifications. Here's some decaying wood. I'm just going to flip over a couple of these pieces here. You can see a couple of smaller mankai running around. You can see a lot of springtails, a few dairy cows. Let me put that back. You can see that the container is mostly dry, but half of it, maybe a third of it, is moist. Got another piece of wood over here. That's a good number of dairy cows right there, as you can see. Again, a lot of babies sitting there. Let's put that back. Ventilation holes, of course. Let's take a look under this bigger piece of wood here. See if I can flip this up without bothering these isopods too much. You can see the half of this enclosure, the substrate is damp. The other is dry, lots of leaves. Another little piece of wood. Lots of babies running around here. Some sphagnum moss over in the corner for moisture. Nice, healthy group of dairy cows. Let me flip this over and we can get a better look at these guys. Again, lots of babies running around here, of course. Lots of springtails. I like springtails in each of my isopod enclosures. Let's go ahead and take a look at another enclosure. Okay, here's the second tub. Let's take a peek at this one. Again, dead wood, lots of leaves, moist area, dry area, lots of ventilation. Let's flip over some of these pieces. I love this piece of wood right here with the hollowed end to it. I guess the dairy cows love it too. Going crazy. Let's take a peek at these. Again, you can see a lot of babies running through there. Again, dry substrate over on this end. Let's flip over that other piece of wood. You can see that they're actually off of the substrate with these pieces of wood. While you can put the pieces of wood right on the substrate, I think that these dairy cows prefer to be a little bit off of the substrate. And again, another good sized group of dairy cows sitting there. Let's take a look at that third container. And the third container is more of an overflow container. They just reproduce so quickly. And I think that that's one of the reasons why these are so popular. Their color, They're easy to maintain, room temperature. They eat just about anything at all. And they breed like crazy. Look at those colors. Just love that. Again, let's take a look at that third container. And again, this container is more as an overflow container. I started this a few months ago just because I was running out of room. So you're going to ask why. Let me turn this around a little bit here. There we go. So you're going to ask, why do I have 3 containers? Well, the simple answer is that we're selling a lot of these dairy cows right now. Again, it's a very, very, very popular isopod. Enclosure set up exactly the same way. Dry on one side, the left side here, and moist on the other side, the right side. Decaying wood, lots of leaves, some eggshell. It looks like they're going through the eggshell fairly quickly here. I'll have to add some more. And let's take a look at this one first. I just want to see if I can get closer on some of these babies in here. Isn't that amazing? They love this wood. They love being a little bit off of the substrate. Let's see if we have any under the other piece of wood. Looks like we do. And again, another big colony of these dairy cows. Very, very, very easy to reproduce. As I mentioned, I do eggshells for calcium. We mist at least 2 times a week on the moist side, just enough to get about half the substrate wet. We feed some vegetables at least twice a week. We feed a lot of foods, and I'll throw a link to a video that I recently did on the foods that we feed these isopods up on top here. One of our main foods, though, is the Supreme Isopod chow. So I'm going to throw some of that in right now. It looks like they're pretty hungry. And I'm sure we won't get a feeding response too quickly, but we do love this chow. Look at those babies still on the wood. Looks like they're finding the isopod chow. Let's go ahead and close up this enclosure and I'll let them feed in privacy. So what do you think? Is that a good reason for the Porcellio laevis dairy cows to be one of the most popular isopods in the hobby? I certainly think so. Thanks for watching. Hey, if you want to find out how to set up a substrate for these isopods, I'm going to throw the link just over to the side here, and you can check out that video. Again, thanks for watching. If you like this video, hit that like. If you haven't already subscribed, hit that notification all so you don't miss another video. We'll see you next week.